I was 32 when I found my brother's GeoCities website code from 2000 while cleaning out the attic. Honestly, I thought it was time to clear out the clutter. Years of junk piled high and forgotten. Remnants of old family lives and aspirations fading in dusty boxes. In the corner, an ancient computer sat hibernating, a relic from my brother's early tech obsession. I pulled it from its tomb, heart racing with a mixture of nostalgia and anxiety. His GeoCities website had been a canvas for everything he loved, one page for each of his hobbies. As I booted the machine and the familiar sounds of the old startup sequence filled the attic, a wave of memories washed over me. I could almost hear my brother's laughter as he coded his pages, feeding his passions into lines of HTML, showcasing everything from skateboarding tricks to levels completed in video games. The screen flickered to life, revealing the bright, garish colors that were so quintessentially GeoCities, a chaotic jumble that felt like stepping back into my childhood. I began clicking through each folder, pausing at each page. There was a part of me that cherished those memories, the way he used to teach me how to write code. The three of us crowded around that computer during family block parties, competing over who could score the highest or land the biggest trick. Yet, amidst the laughter, an unexpected thread of melancholy wormed its way into my mind. My brother had been gone for more than a decade now, and here was tangible evidence of a life that felt so distant but so vivid all at once. I hesitated, glancing at the screen. Should I dive deeper into those memories or leave them untouched? As I scrolled down the last page, covered in various animated GIFs in bold fonts, I stumbled upon something completely unexpected, an embedded link, a hidden treasure that seemed almost out of place. But what I found embedded in the code was something I never anticipated, a live stream titled Current Roam View, which sent a chill through me. I clicked on it, stomach twisting. The page loaded slowly, and my heart raced as the live stream appeared, stabilizing into focus. My room, my actual room, just as it was that moment, displayed on the screen in a low-resolution feed. I froze, trying to comprehend what I was seeing. Was it an elaborate prank? An old recording? Confusion swirled in my mind as I scanned the waiting room live stream. Then I spotted something. A flicker of movement in the corner of my room that shouldn't be there. A shadow rushed past, and I felt my blood run cold. It was all too real. I grabbed for my phone and tried to rationalize it. I checked the time on my computer, 3:15 p.m. No glitches, no errors. This was happening live. I stared, feeling both mesmerized and terrified, caught between the past and present. Could this be my brother's clever idea? I thought, my heart racing against a backdrop of suffocating dread. If this is giving you chills, hit that like button. You'll want to stick around. It gets even stranger. But as I continued to watch, I noticed more unsettling details. A misplaced item on the shelf, an unsettling sound resonating from the screen while my surroundings felt eerily quiet, an echo of an old family moment. What was I witnessing? I reminded myself it had to be a trick of the light, some system error. Yet every notable element, every sound pulled me deeper into unease. Eventually, the stream unveiled multiple anomalies, objects shifting ever so slightly, no one else present to explain the increasingly strange sounds. My anxiety mounted with each passing second. Why were these things happening? I thought perhaps it was a glitch, something I'd missed, a fabrication of memories or leftover coding errors. The more I observed, the murkier things became. And still, I couldn't pull myself away. Comment below, have you ever found something from a relative that felt wrong? Did it lead you to questions that kept you up at night? As the stream continued to unfold, it became increasingly evident that something was off. The sense of normalcy I thought existed when I first saw my brother's old code had twisted into something grotesquely unsettling. I couldn't compare moments from the live stream and link them to my memories, yet correlations piqued my curiosity. It struck me how odd it was for the visuals on the screen to correlate with events from long ago. Things that seemed petty in hindsight now stood out, infused with a weight of foreboding, disconnected from their innocent beginnings. Jarring coincidences began stacking up like a tally of long-ignored memories. A skateboard in the corner of the live stream. I had seen my brother using it years before. It felt like the ghost of his past was flickering back to life, taunting me with its revelations. I stumbled upon clues buried in that code sheet thousands of lines deep, messages, moments, and events entwined with dates that felt unnervingly familiar. I felt my heart drop with every new discovery. It was no longer about nostalgia. It had transformed into a question of existence. As I sifted through the words, racing against time to uncover the truth my brother had left behind, I grappled with heartache and disbelief while staring into the void that stared back. This investigation helped you understand something about your own strange experiences with time and memory. If it did, hit that thanks button below. Your support fuels my quest to explore stories like this one. Continuing down that rabbit hole, I began investigating strange temporal anomalies and delving into theories that brushed against the edges of science. Quantum entanglement, retrocausality, whispers of time broken and bent. It all seemed like a tangled mess, impossible yet tantalizing. I reached out to physicists, friends versed in tech, anyone I thought might shed light on the mysteries my brother had left behind. Each interaction only intensified my sense of dread. They nodded, eyes wide, growing uneasy at the strangest concerns. They couldn't believe it. I could feel their disbelief like the cooling breath of death shadowing over everything I was unearthing. More theories pooled in my mind, each more outlandish than the last. Time and memory tied together, an ocean of possibility waiting for an adventurer brave enough to plunge beneath the surface. Yet, finding answers only deepened the anxiety that twisted within me. Want to delve deeper into eerie tech anomalies? Join my channel for exclusive content that explores cases too disturbing to share publicly. Trust me, some of it will chill your bones. As I rummaged through journal entries my brother had kept, meticulous notes woven together like a love letter to reality, I found echoes of prophetic whispers. Moments he described seemed to align with real-time events depicted in the live stream, darting past me like the whispers of lost souls. It was a web connecting moments of his innocence to this shielded reality. Every flicker I observed in the live stream seemed to come from somewhere deep within him, suggestive patterns predicting the course between intent and consequence. I had stumbled upon the tangled web of fate my brother had woven long before he was gone. But how far would these connections stretch, and would I even want to know? I didn't just find a link to my past. I realized it had twisted into a dangerous prophecy I could not escape. It felt as if every footprint of his existence, layer after layer, glimmered with implications I was not ready to face. There was only one solution gnawing at my mind. I had to change things. I set up an intervention, a plan to disrupt future events I saw predicted within the live stream, a temporal rebellion against the inevitable flow of Destiny's river. I would confront the locations my brother once bound to this existence, fight the tug of fate itself, and tear apart the fabric he'd knitted. But fate has a way of slipping through your fingers. Each corner I turned, each step felt accounted for by invisible strings tied to a taunting puppet master, my brother. I had wrestled emotions and realities to find agency, only to realize the futility of trying to alter predetermined events. Every effort seemed to hasten my descent into despair. If you found this exploration profound and life-changing, press that thank you button. Your contributions are what allow me to dive deeper into these unsettling mysteries. Navigating my brother's orchestrated design unveiled a scope of horror so vast it shattered my understanding of free will. Physical exhaustion cascaded over me like the fading heartbeat of a life interrupted. Why hadn't I seen that the answers would transcend comprehension? Each choice mirrored inside that stream left me devoid of agency. I was merely a pawn in this cosmic game. But then I stepped away from the computer. The darkness of understanding loomed around me. I could not simply look back. I had waded too deep into the extension of time itself to think there would be comfort in returning. The tether had been severed. I still have a screenshot of the final live stream, and sometimes, even now, I wonder what else it might reveal. I reflect on the choices I made. Should I destroy those haunting files or preserve them as markers of my brother's brilliance? My heart perplexed at the solitude mingled with the promise of the unknown. Last week, a flicker danced across my old computer screen, the live stream starting again, my breath caught, heart racing. Have I truly learned everything, or are more echoed cries lurking in the shadows? I can't help but think fate isn't around to allow for simple conclusions. If you ever find something like this, heed my warning. Don't follow the links that promise deeper truths. I was 32 when I found my brother's GeoCities website code from 2000 while cleaning out the attic. Honestly, I thought it was time to clear out the clutter. Years of junk piled high and forgotten, remnants of old family lives and aspirations fading in dusty boxes. In the corner, an ancient computer sat hibernating, a relic from my brother's early tech obsession. I pulled it from its tomb, heart racing with a mixture of nostalgia and anxiety. His GeoCities website had been a canvas for everything he loved, one page for each of his hobbies. As I booted the machine and the familiar sounds of the old startup sequence filled the attic, a wave of memories washed over me. I could almost hear him laughing as he coded, feeding his passions into lines of HTML, showcasing everything from skateboarding tricks to video game conquests. The screen flickered to life, displaying the bright, garish colors of GeoCities, a chaotic jumble that felt like stepping back into my childhood. Time had supposed to dissolve the sting of loss, but instead it resurfaced memories with a sharpness that made my heart ache. As I browsed through the simple layouts, I felt an unease lurking beyond the comfort that nostalgia brought. Time had supposed to dissolve the sting of loss, but instead it resurfaced memories with a sharpness that made my heart ache. As I browsed through the simple layouts, I felt an unease lurking beyond the comfort that nostalgia brought. I paused at each page, resisting the urge to dive too deep. Then, scrolling to the last page, I stumbled upon something unexpected, an embedded link, a hidden treasure that seemed out of place. But what I found embedded in the code was something I never anticipated, a live stream titled Current Room View. As I clicked on it, my stomach twisted. The page loaded slowly, and my heart raced as the live stream appeared, stabilizing in the focus. My room. My actual room, just as it was at that moment, displayed on the screen in a low-resolution feed. I froze, confusion swirling in my mind. Was it a prank? An old recording? Then I spotted something, a flicker of movement in the corner. A shadow rushed past, and I felt my blood run cold. It was all too real. I grabbed for my phone, rationalizing it, checking the time on my computer. 3:15 p.m. No glitches. This was happening live. Caught between the past and present, my heart raced against a backdrop of dread. Could this be my brother's clever idea? If this is giving you chills, hit that like button. You'll want to stick around. It gets even stranger. As I watched, more unsettling details emerged. A misplaced item on the shelf, bizarre sounds echoing while my surroundings were eerily quiet. I reminded myself it had to be a trick, yet every notable element pulled me deeper into unease. I couldn't pull away. Eventually, the stream revealed multiple anomalies, objects shifting slightly, no one else present to explain the strange sounds. My anxiety mounted with each second. I thought perhaps it was a glitch or leftover coding errors. The more I observed, the murkier things became. Comment below, have you ever found something from a relative that felt wrong? Did it lead you to questions that kept you up at night? It became increasingly evident that something was off. The sense of normalcy from my brother's old code twisted into something grotesque. I couldn't compare the live stream to my memories, yet correlations piqued my curiosity. A skateboard in the corner of the live stream? That was my brother's. It felt like the ghost of his past was flickering back to life, taunting me. As I sifted through the code, my heart dropped with every unsettling discovery. This was no longer nostalgia. It was an urgent inquiry into existence. I realized I was grappling with both heartache and disbelief while staring into that void. Each revelation plunged me deeper into questions I wasn't ready to confront. This investigation helped you understand something about your own strange experiences with time and memory? If it did, hit that thanks button below. Your support fuels my quest to explore stories like this one. Navigating through all those memories, I began to unravel strange temporal anomalies intertwined with my brother's awareness of technology. Each discovery deepened the anxiety twisting within me as the line between memory and reality blurred. I realized I was at the threshold of something terrifying and profound. My brother was an ambitious 14-year-old in 2000, brimming with dreams and the kind of energy that connected people. He lived in that period marked by emerging digital landscapes where kids like him were learning to navigate the intricacies of web coding, while I was busy learning the joy of blast processing video games. He was my sibling, my mentor, and my best friend. In retrospect, I realize how blessed I was to have shared that part of my life with someone so fiercely creative. He taught me the rudimentary aspects of HTML while we giggled over the clunky designs of GeoCities. I vividly recall the Sundays we spent in front of that old computer, crafting his website so it could reflect his personality and passion. Gaming and skateboarding became more than hobbies. They were woven into the fabric of our family's life. Our weekends revolved around coding mini projects, yard sales for hardware upgrades, and enthusiastic debates over the latest video games. I'd watch him pore over manuals and forums, completely enamored by the way he approached each challenge, like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Family life during that time was simpler, less punctuated by the chaos of adulthood. We connected deeply over our shared interests. In a way, those memories sheltered feelings of belonging and warmth, but they also exposed the fissures left by his absence. I couldn't forget the empty room left behind when his adventures were suddenly cut short. The loss hung over my head, a cloud that frequently darkened my thoughts, but was momentarily alleviated when revisiting our shared memories. As I scrolled through the various pages of his hobbies again, nostalgia surged within me. There were sections dedicated to his skateboarding tricks, complete with shaky video uploads and triumphs immortalized in images. I could still recall that first kickflip during our family block party, and I smiled. It was a seemingly innocent time when the biggest concern was whose turn it was to play next. But nestled behind the joy was a creeping sense of foreboding. The deeper I navigated through those old files, the more uneasy I became. This was not just a digital graveyard for memories. It felt like something was lurking beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered, like a riddle. My hands trembled as I flipped through memories shaped by joy and bound by determination, all punctured by a sharp realization that it might hold more than just nostalgia. After digging deeper, I began to sense a strange pattern forming among the jumble of links and pages. His love for coding wasn't just for fun. There was an analysis of time itself woven into the very fabric of his creations. It suddenly felt like he was exploring connections beyond the expectations of a youthful coder. It was a journey through consciousness, reflecting his understanding of time, memory, and existence. Curiosity tugged at me harder, leading me to click on that hidden link, thinking it was just my brother being playful. If you want to explore more stories about forgotten web pages and lost memories, subscribe to my channel. because uncovering what lies hidden behind these nostalgic sites could reveal a deeper connection to the past. As I delved into this new territory, I was stunned by what I found. The pages of his website echoed with prophetic whispers tied to dates, events, and experiences from our shared childhood. It felt like he left a breadcrumb trail, an attempt to engage with time in a way I had never considered. Amid the innocent fun lay a complex tapestry. Each page was a brushstroke of his perception, painting something that may have hinted at relational threads between the past, present, and future. With my emotions oscillating between heartache and exploration, I felt compelled to piece together what my brother had left behind. Each discovery echoed in my mind, resonating chillingly like a ghost from my past, summoning memories I thought I had already buried. It seemed an unwritten law had sprung to life, drawing me deeper into the labyrinth of his recollections. What awaited me at the center of this self-constructed riddle? The way he captured moments in time reverberated throughout my life, entangling me in a quest for meaning I had only begun to tease apart. And so I pushed forward, riding the undertow toward the depths of an existential mystery that threatened to pull me under. As I navigated this eerily familiar digital landscape, my pulse quickened with every click. Each page of my brother's GeoCities website was a haunting echo from the past, intertwining his childhood with my memories of us together, those weekends lost in the coding ether starring video games and skateboards. The colors of the pages, blaring like an old rock band, illuminated the nostalgia, yet they cloaked something sinister. Each line of HTML seemed pregnant with meaning now, and I felt his spirit alive within them, pushing me to uncover truths I hadn't anticipated. My insistent curiosity led me deeper into his world, where innocent joys began to twist into chilling insights. The skateboard tricks he had immortalized in video clips were accompanied by strange notes about the precarious nature of time, words amplifying in clarity with every moment I spent submerged in his creations. As I examined each scribbled line, I detected patterns resembling those in a science fiction novel, theorizing time as more than just a straight line, but instead a wild and thorny maze, chaotic and unpredictable. Then, amidst these experiences, the embedded link loomed large in my mind, the one that had taken me by surprise, leading to the live stream titled Current Room View. The very thought of it sent a shiver racing down my spine. Why did he code it? What did he see that moved him to enshrine this moment digitally? As I contemplated, the initial feeling of dread morphed into something else entirely, a burning need to confront my fears. Drawing in a deep breath, I recalled the specific image the livestream had produced, the flicker of my own self on the screen, viewing my reality in an uncanny reflection. It felt like a moment frozen in time. Tension coiled around my chest as I realized how fleeting our moments truly were. Something about the bizarre stream seemed to be capturing time itself, revealing the threads that bind human experiences into existence. I could feel my brother's essence welling up through the very pixels I was observing, whispering secrets just out of reach. If this narrative is giving you chills, hit that like button. You won't want to miss what I discovered next. With my focus lingering on the myriad of notes my brother had left behind, I started creating timelines, connections that bridged our past with the eerie intricacies of the present unfolding before me. Patterns emerged that chilled my spine. The dates he had written, scrawled casually next to notes about trivial childhood events, now seemed to predict alarming truths. A passing comment about a local skate park directly correlated with one of the timestamps in the live stream, a place we frequented in our youth. As the pieces clicked together in fragmented clarity, I began to fear the implications of my findings. Was my brother manipulating time with his insights, or was he capturing a truth none of us could understand, a binding reality that stretched beyond the realm of human perception? The question spiraled into a vortex, leading me deeper into a rabbit hole I wasn't sure I could escape. Each enigmatic revelation threatened to dissolve the very fabric of my understanding of existence, making me all too conscious of the ephemeral nature of life. I took a moment to pause and let the weight of my discovery sink in. How many layers I had yet to peel back. How much my brother had woven into this tapestry of memories and moments. As I stood in that cluttered attic, surrounded by the shadows of a life once lived, I felt a deep longing to reach out and uncover the darkness festering beneath those digital layers. I felt his pull, an invitation to dive into the essence of time itself, an entanglement of wonder mixed with paralyzing dread. Yet despite the dread and anxiety swirling within me, there was a flicker of excitement. Perhaps within this beautiful tragedy lay answers waiting to be unearthed. Determined not to shy away from what haunted my brother's creations, I plunged deeper into the darkly captivating world he had left for me. The lines of his code seemed to be calling, resonating with a rhythm that echoed from beyond the grave, entangling me in a web of familial memory and discovery that felt as if it could bend the universe itself. I pressed on, drawn by a force that felt both familiar and terrifying, waiting for the next bizarre revelation woven into the fabric of my brother's work, one that might bridge the gulf between the living and the echoes of time. What further twists lay inside this journey, and would they lead me to discoveries too profound to understand? I couldn't know for certain, but one thing was clear. This exploration would take me deeper than I had ever imagined, into the realm where time's illusions met the remnants of a lost but not forgotten sibling spirit. The very fabric of my existence began to unravel as I delved deeper into the web of my brother's cryptic creations. Each click had morphed from casual curiosity into an intimate communion with shadows long buried. The GeoCities pages transformed from mere nostalgia to a profound dialogue about the nature of time and existence, and my heart raced with the overwhelming weight of each new revelation. As I sifted through layered connections, I stumbled upon an intricately coded section labeled Time Theories. Each line seemed like a manifesto of sorts, detailing notions of time travel that he had likely drafted in the relentless pursuit of understanding. A condition that captivated his young mind. I could almost picture him reclining in that old gaming chair, fingers flying over the keyboard as ideas flitted around him like moths to a flame. A part of me marveled at his intellect. Another portion felt unnerved by the implications of his explorations. I clicked on a link titled Temporal Echoes, half expecting frivolous ideas birthed from youthful imagination. As the text appeared, what lay before me felt far from whimsical. He had outlined observations that seemed to scroll beyond the ordinary, phenomenons where past actions converged with present outcomes, creating ripples transcending individual perception. It felt like he was daring to dictate elements of fate, noting a bizarre pattern where individual choices intermingled with memory. Could it be possible? I whispered to myself uneasily. The words rang in my ears like an incantation. He had drawn comparisons between disparate events in our lives, offering a view that somehow suggested our experiences were interconnected, influenced by actions we may not fully comprehend. As I inspected the notes, my throat constricted. I zeroed in on a specific entry that mentioned a skateboard accident I had faced as a child, one that sent me sprawling from the top of a hill. Near miss, but a consequence avoided, he wrote, before linking it to a date 6 months later. Change causes an effect without your awareness. Reading it sent a chill through me, as if the very memories we had fabricating together had transformed into phantoms, haunting with metaphysical implications. This newfound comprehension shifted the ground I stood on. Each revelation left me dizzy, grappling with a tide I had never anticipated. And yet, beneath the surface of anxiety was a relentless urge to delve further, to expose whatever lurking truth was awaiting me in the folds of time. The complexity surged through me, making me wonder if he had merely been a child playing with ideas or if there was something more profound at work in his mind. If he could glimpse the subtleties of time through his youthful lens, what had he unearthed that I had yet to confront? What moments did he foresee that made him feel compelled to share them through the code? My heart tightened as I flicked through his conceptualizations. Each statement belied some hidden philosophy of time itself, woven beneath layers of childhood simplicity. With renewed determination, I scrolled down to another section, feeling as though something dark lingered just beneath the surface. Entries compiled under Things to Avoid revealed harrowing insights, events he referenced in connection with what he termed shadows. These were not just yearbook memories. They hinted at things I had long forgotten, encapsulated experiences that suddenly felt like they had warped into nightmarish specters of warming. I felt compelled to read further. One of the entries painted a vivid image of a specific summer outing, the one that had culminated in an argument between us, a simple spat over who gets the last slice of pizza. That trivial moment had led to a day of stilted silence and half-concealed grudges. Yet in the notes, he pointed towards something much more sinister. Avoid near extinction of relationships. Minor fissures become fractures, it warned, suggesting ramifications for actions dismissed as trivial. His words hung over me like a heavy fog, a chilling reminder of how fragile connection is without acknowledgement. With each detail, the greater fabric of our lives intertwined in strange ways, creating a tapestry of events that could alter destinies, not just ours, but possibly others too. I gritted my teeth at the implications. Was it really possible that these echoes from the past could haunt the decisions we make in the present? The notion spun my understanding of reality, pushing me towards a mental precipice that felt precarious at best. Then came a thought that rippled through my mind with clarity. Did I have the ability to alter the course of our lives even now? Could my brother's musings on time lead to decisions that could reshape the echoes of our past? Should I aim to resurrect the moments we once shared, deploying a kind of temporal healing? The enormity of it sent a surge of adrenaline through me, allowing it to merge with the dread already churning within. I was risking exposing realities that had long since been buried beneath what I believed had been settled. I felt incompetent, too vulnerable to face questions that led to existential crises I had not been prepared for. Comment below. Have you ever come across something significant in your family's belongings that made you rethink your entire history? Did it awaken memories you thought you had buried? The shadows felt heavier now, wrapping around me like a shifting blanket, every receipt from my past whispering secrets of lost potential. Perhaps there was more to gain from this exploration. Perhaps I could navigate this convoluted labyrinth, deciphering my own truth. With spiraling determination pressing me forward, I fortified myself for the challenge ahead, a challenge demanding an engagement with time itself and the ghosts of decisions past. What shadowy revelations were left to discover, hidden behind the intricate links of his childhood website? And could I truly unearth the hidden truths my brother once seemed to presage, delving deeper into the pursuit of understanding time's fragmented weave? The adventure had only just begun, and I felt the trail led me toward the heart of a secret older than both of us combined. With the echoes of my discoveries still reverberating in my mind, I found myself standing on the precipice of an existential abyss. The content from my brother's GeoCities website swirled around me like a cacophony of whispers, urging me to delve deeper, to unravel not just the threads of his life, but mine as well. Each entry I read embedded itself in my psyche, thoughts intertwining into a web of curiosity laced with dread. Driven by a magnetism I couldn't explain, I clicked through even more links, navigating the digital archive of his past. The pages labeled Temporal Theorems caught my eye, and as I delved into those meticulously crafted notes, I felt my heart race. He had constructed intricate theories, hypothesizing how moments could be influenced by both remembered events and choices yet to come. Each notation was tinged with youthful enthusiasm, yet carried the weight of someone wise beyond their years. One particular theory stood out, a model he termed the echo effect. I read with rapt attention as he dissected how seemingly trivial moments ripple through time, altering not just our individual experiences, but potentially creating unintended consequences for those around us. Everything is connected, the entry stated, and the past shapes the present, while the present seeds the future. The implications sent shivers skittering down my spine. It was as if he had tapped into a universal truth that many spent lifetimes chasing after, yet found elusive. A chilling association sparked in my mind as I processed this revelation. Could this theory serve as an introduction to healing the traumatic fissures in our own relationship? Could the ghosts haunting our shared moments be lured out into the light, transformed and rewritten? It felt like I was staring at the edges of a tapestry that could be altered, one thread at a time, leading to a new narrative. Yet, as enticing as the thought was, the weight of its complexity settled heavily on my chest. What would I risk by trying to unravel the fabric of our shared history? My chest constricted with anxiety. It seemed a task far too monumental for one person. But then again, was this opportunity not what my brother had intended for me when he left these breadcrumbs behind? I felt compelled to act. It was no longer merely about retrieving memories or unearthing histories, but about rewriting futures entwined in nostalgia. I gazed around the attic, feeling the weight of each lonely object that had blended with the dust of time. This environment, soaked in memories, became a sanctuary, an altar where I could confront both the light and shadows of our past. With newfound resolve, I began sketching outlines of possible connections inspired by my brother's theories. It was exhilarating yet haunting as I realized how intertwined our stories truly were, and how fragile they had become over time. The intricacy of his thoughts made it clear. He had been aware of life's impermanence and the power of choice long before I'd grasped it myself. My fingers moved deftly across the keyboard, translating inspiration into action, a synthesis of nostalgia and foresight. The mental haze cleared as I allowed the echoes of my brother's words to be my guiding light. If only I could bring his knowledge into the conscious realm, intertwining our pasts to shape my future. The realization struck me. If this exploration helped you understand something about your own strange experiences with time and memory, then I needed to share this. Hit that thanks button below, I murmured to the void, feeling almost as if he were coaxing me with encouragement from beyond. Your support allows these stories to echo on. Each voice counts as we navigate these mysteries together. Now, I felt like I was tapping into an ancient wellspring of wisdom, infused with my brother's spirit urging me forward. With my resolve reaffirmed, I continued clicking through his notes. One thread in particular caught my attention, a segment titled Personal Reflections. It was rife with sentiments about the fleeting nature of connections, the importance of cherishing each other, and a sense of responsibility toward future generations. Tears formed in my eyes as I read his words. They resonated deeply, hauntingly familiar in that they echoed my very own struggles with loss. As I absorbed his wisdom, I knew this knowledge shouldn't just rest in an ephemeral archive. It needed to be shared, expanding beyond the confines of my personal revelations. I envisioned crafting a narrative that weaved his insights into a larger tapestry, a testimony to the longevity of love and connection. What would it mean to bring forth his thoughts into the world? How would his reflections resonate with others? My heart swelled, feeling like a vessel of both remembrance and hope, bridging the gap between who we were and who we could be. This wasn't just an act of remembrance, it was an act of resurrection, of our shared experiences, of his voice, and of a deeper recognition of what it meant to navigate life's labyrinth. As I prepared to engage with the time-wrought paths he had outlined, I held firm to the belief that together, across the chasms of loss and existence, there could still be a way forward. I chose to honor memories and futures, intertwining them as he had envisioned within the echoing threads of temporality. As I immersed myself deeper into my brother's sophisticated exploration of time and memory, I felt a profound convergence of emotions, a bittersweet mix of nostalgia and urgency. Each cascading thought from his notes wrapped around me, creating an almost palpable thread connecting our pasts with the present I found myself in. It was as if my brother's spirit was guiding me, helping illuminate the dimly lit paths I had once thought were hopelessly lost. The title, Connections, caught my eye, and I blinked away rising tears, drawn in by the potential of what lay within. My heart raced as I delved into the text, where he had outlined numerous ways small gestures significantly affected the relationships we maintained. He dissected the value of sincere apologies, the importance of expression, and how seemingly mundane moments could bind us closer together or pull us apart irreparably. A simple word can alter the course of fate, he had written, and every missed connection is an echo reflected into eternity. His insights were both a warning and a call to action. I could sense the frailty of my own relationships mirrored in his words. It became clear to me that he had not only theorized about powerful notions of time, he had experienced moments in his life where the intensity of connection profoundly influenced his journey, and he wished to impart that wisdom to me. I felt an awakening within, a determination to apply his teachings not only to the fragments of our shared past, but also to my current relationships. I thought of the friends I had distanced myself from, of the anger I had harbored over trivial disagreements. These reflections made me acutely aware of the potential task at hand if I dared to confront the ghosts lingering in my life. In that cramped attic, surrounded by the remnants of our childhood, I envisioned creating a project that transcended just personal catharsis. It could ripple outwards, helping others reconnect with fragments of their own histories and relationships. The notion of facilitating healing and understanding ignited my ambition. What if I could inspire others to look past their own fractured connections? Suddenly, an idea sparked in my mind. Why not turn my findings into a web series, an exploration of time and memories rooted in deeper reflections on familial bonds? I imagined sharing how echoes of the past shape our present, interviewing others about their experiences with loss, memory, and reconnection. It would invite participation from a community of like-minded souls who also sought understanding. As I drafted the project outline in my notes, I felt a sense of purpose wash over me. Each concept I penned seemed to breathe new life into both my brother's legacy and my own purpose. The whir of the computer hummed like the pulse of forgotten memories, merging with the potential of the future. I paused, inhaling deeply, allowing my thoughts to flow freely. If I wanted to bring this vision to life, I knew I would need support. A wave of determination surged through me. This endeavor required more than just my insights. It would need collaboration, funding, and a network of eager participants. That realization brought forth an idea. If I shared my journey and invited others to join me in dissecting their own relationships, I could foster a community committed to reconnecting through the wisdom of shared experiences. Look, if you want to dive deeper into these stories, the ones that are too disturbing or revealing to share publicly, join the channel membership, I articulated softly to the stillness around me. There's a reason some stories must remain hidden until we are ready to confront the shadows. This was the leap, I recognized, an invitation for others to embark on this adventure with me, to explore not just the curiosities of time, but also the intricacies of relationships, diving into the shadows together. What I envisioned felt beyond just personal growth. It was about unearthing memories that resonated with many others, creating a tapestry of connection, all rooted in love and shared histories. During those moments spent tapping away at the keyboard, I reaffirmed my mission to build a bridge between the echoes of the past and the expanse of possibilities of the future. The trials of my brother's insights and the potential they held sang out to me like a song I had always known but had finally begun to hear. As I jotted down the last few points, capturing the essence of this burgeoning project, excitement welled within me. I was not just uncovering the past, I was setting into motion a healing journey designed to spark threads of understanding across myriad lives. Fueled by my brother's guidance, I felt empowered to move forward, offering others not just a voice, but a connection to traverse the labyrinthine complexities of their own relationships. With each keystroke, I grasped that we are all linked, that the echoes of our past can shape who we are today. My brother had offered me a treasure trove of understanding, one that felt like a beacon in the dark, and I was determined to pass it on. This journey had only just begun, and I felt confident that together we could stitch together a new narrative filled with resilience, love, and an appreciation for the fleeting beauty of connection. With fervor growing within me, the vision for my web series began to formulate into a concrete outline. Each element of my brother's insights pieced together like the intricate segments of a puzzle coming to life. I felt the excitement pulse through my veins, a current that was threading through time and nostalgia, propelling me forward into uncharted territory. I imagined viewers who would find closure and connection along this journey, bridging generations as they confronted their own faded memories. I envisioned starting every episode with a nostalgic flashback, catching glimpses of our childhood moments, the birthday parties, the skateboarding tricks, the raucous laughter echoing in the air. These vignettes would unfold like pages from a cherished scrapbook, setting the stage for deeper discussions around the significance of those moments and their lasting impacts. It wasn't just remembrance, it was an active invitation to grapple with unresolved feelings that lingered long after the memories faded. The thought of engaging with a community hungry for connection energized me. I could already see the threads weaving in and out, connecting lives and experiences through shared vulnerabilities. With each passing realization, I felt more anchored in my purpose, knowing that opening this dialogue had the potential to be transformative. Yet, I recognized that to manifest something this ambitious, I needed to back my passion with knowledge and thorough documentation. My fingers flew over the keyboard, and I began summarizing my ideas, creating outlines for each episode, detailing the poignant points I draw from my brother's writings, and weaving in current understandings and emotional reflections. I was uncovering methodologies grounded in psychology and storytelling. It became clear that I could provide a resource that went beyond mere reflection. As I brainstormed, I recalled my brother's brilliant approach to challenges. The way he'd meticulously document his thoughts, theories, and even scientific references. There was a part of me that felt compelled to pull from that legacy, to gather all these ideas and insights into a cohesive format that would resonate with a wider audience. Imagine, I thought, if I documented over 50 of our moments, insights, and observations, encapsulating them in a comprehensive ebook. A collection not just commemorating my brother's profound notions, but also serving as a guide for reconnecting with lost relationships. This prompted an exhilarating rush of creativity, and I began to draft chapters. I structured them around themes. Ours was a story rooted in reflection, filled with dreams of reconciliation, acknowledgement, and understanding. Each chapter would pull the reader into a dual journey, one through the memories I had shared with my brother, and another through their own experiences, sparking dialogue and inspiring connection. But to make this tangible, to reach those navigating the broken lines of their own history, I realized I would need support to bring this vision to fruition. And so, the notion of offering the ebook rose from the depths of my planning. This can become a cornerstone for discussions across a community, I murmured excitedly as the pieces fell into place.
If you found value in the reflections and explorations of time and connection we've navigated together, I wanted to invite everyone to grab the full ebook when it becomes available. It encapsulates everything we've woven together, the insights, the stories, the guidance, I thought. Imagine flipping through the pages, exploring the echoes of our past while embarking on your own journey. It's all designed to help foster deeper understanding and heal old wounds. With this burgeoning narrative taking shape, I circled back to my brother's insights, combing through them to ensure I captured every essence, every nuance of his contemplations on time, memory, and connection. I recognized that I was not merely documenting history, I was resurrecting it. In this cacophony of emotions, joy, grief, hope, I sat with bolstered resolve. The vision felt expansive, an invitation to remember the fleeting connections while also ensuring the lessons learned did not fade into silence. I would press on with the knowledge that this journey was not just mine. It belonged to all those who would come alongside me, all those who felt the tug of their own unresolved pasts. Finally, as I stood elbow deep in this project, the weight of the previous chapters rested firmly on my shoulders, half-finished stories lingering within me, each one an invitation to grow stronger. The echoes I so desperately sought turned toward action now, taking form in a way my brother would have admired. Standing in that cluttered attic, surrounded by remnants of the past, the promise of tomorrow felt clearer than ever. Change was not only possible, it felt imminent. There was still so much to process, personal dynamics those pages might stir, revelations that deserved to be named. But a wave of certainty surged through me. Each step I took came imbued with my brother's guidance, intertwined with my determination to forge connection through the echoes left behind. This journey was unfolding before me, ripe with the potential to unearth truths not just for my own healing, but for a community seeking solace and understanding. I felt unyielding. This was just the beginning, and I knew I would not falter. Through each word, I would strive to honor both my brother's legacy and everyone who dared to embrace the complexity of memory with me. With my determination solidified, I continued shaping the vision that now consumed my thoughts. I sat there, surrounded by remnants of our past, a dusty toy boat, old photographs, and the framed awards we had both forgotten over time. The past seemed to swirl around me, filling the attic with whispers, as if it were urging me to listen closely, to find purpose and meaning amidst the echoes. That night, as the shadows danced against the walls, I opened my brother's digital archive again, diving into the depths of his theories. I sought clarity, hoping for a guiding light that might illuminate the path ahead. My fingers scrolled through endless entries, illuminating the mind of the brother I had lost, whose spirit still glimmered within those lines of text. Each word felt like a reunion, a warmth spreading through the hollowness left by his absence. Then I stumbled across an entry that sent chills down my spine. It was a note titled "Recognizing Patterns," detailing how past experiences often revisited us, woven into the fabric of our lives. He had written about moments that resurfaced when we least expected them, echoing emotions tied to unresolved issues. Time is cyclical, and the past has a way of teaching us, he had concluded. A wave of realization struck me hard. What if this cyclical nature he described included my outreach to others? What if these stories I plan to share could touch lives not just by reflecting on nostalgia, but by helping people confront their truths? By shedding light on our struggles, perhaps we could break free from cycles of pain. The patterns could be disrupted, allowing for healing to begin. Fueled by this newfound understanding, I decided to integrate the concept of patterns into the series I envisioned. Each episode could explore a unique story, an experience shared by viewers, friends, and even family, intertwined with reflections from my brother's writings. Each arc would offer a chance not just to revisit memories, but to actively engage with them, armed with insight and an opportunity for growth. Excitement coursed through me, shaping the project's direction into something genuinely impactful. I knew I could invite others onto this journey, not merely as spectators, but as collaborators in reclaiming lost connections. Let's rediscover those forgotten corners of our lives, I thought, my heart racing at the sheer potential of shared healing. As I prepared to gather stories and polish my framework, a hum of creativity buzzed within me. I began to formulate plans for the first episode while considering how to articulate my vision without hesitance. This project is more than just a narrative, I repeated to myself, as if affirming it aloud could make it real. It's about community, about confronting difficult truths. Before long, I realized that this adventure would need another layer of interaction, a way to weave in the intimate experiences of others. It became clear. During episodes, I could encourage reflections from viewers. Comment below, I whispered to myself, noting how essential it would be to invite participants into the conversation. Sharing their stories would foster a sense of belonging, a chance to bond over memories shaped by both joy and loss. The thrill of such connections made me envision a live chat feature, where viewers could engage, respond, and reflect on episodes as they aired, fostering a dynamic dialogue and encouraging everything from laughter to tears. This interaction could evoke a sense of catharsis, igniting the possibility of change and understanding. My mind spun with possibilities as I drafted promotional material. I needed to convey the message clearly. What we would accomplish could ripple outwards and evolve into something bigger than I could grasp. Grab the full story when it becomes available, I typed. Each tale can lead us closer to understanding. Through shared experiences, we can face the shadows of our past. And at that moment, it dawned on me just how important it was to express gratitude toward those who would join the journey, whether they were participants, supporters, or fellow travelers walking alongside me. Hit that thanks button below, I murmured into the stillness, feeling both hopeful and vulnerable. Your support helps me uncover these stories. Together, we can navigate the intricacies of connection. Engaging in this collaborative spirit felt both exhilarating and empowering. Every keystroke I typed vibrated with the shared memories and hopes of others. This journey was no longer solely about retrieving my brother's legacy. It had morphed into a combined effort, a quest to inspire healing among those seeking to mend their own relationships. As the attic filled with shadows and light swayed on the walls, I realized that the past was no longer a burden. It became a resource, a guide toward reconciliation and understanding. I took a deep breath, holding on to a vision that felt like it could transcend mortal boundaries. Together, we could forge connections that extended beyond time and memory, binding us together in a profound tapestry of experience, resilience, and love. I was ready to put this vision into action. It was time to burst through the veils of nostalgia and create something new, beautiful and stark all at once, facing the shadows without fear. And I knew that my brother would be right there with me, echoing through the currents of time as we forged ahead into the story yet to be written. With my mind racing and adrenaline pulsing through my veins, I knew that each moment spent engrossed in this project was contributing to a greater purpose. The thrill of the vision I was crafting filled me with energy. Nothing felt more urgent and compelling than the desire to share my brother's legacy while simultaneously forging new connections. I inhaled deeply, a blend of hope and fear pressing against the backdrop of uncertainty. Over the following days, exhilaration turned into anxiety as deadlines approached and the enormity of my undertaking set in. I created lists of tasks packed with promotional material, content outlines, and filming strategies. Each point on a page seemed to loom before me, both daunting and invigorating. This was it. The moment I had been waiting for was drawing near, and the clarity of my vision pieced itself together like an intricate mosaic, bit by bit. As I sifted through my notes, my fingers trembling with energy, I stumbled upon ideas that required more than just vision. They demanded execution.
I found myself wanting to ensure that the community I sought to engage wouldn't resonate just with nostalgia, but with actionable wisdom rooted in forgiveness, understanding, and ultimately healing. It was recurring themes, every curve of insight seeming to wrap around the ideas of connection that made my vision clear and purposeful. I worked diligently on the ebook, the words flowing freely as I transcribed vital points from my brother's writings, weaving his thoughts seamlessly into anecdotes from my own life. I wanted it all to reflect a mosaic that highlighted not only his brilliance, but also the resonating truth within our shared experiences. Perhaps the ebook could serve as a guiding text for hundreds, even thousands, navigating their own complex narratives. Ever so often, the weight of apprehension would creep in. What would people think? Would they find it valuable? But every fleeting fear was beaten back by the memory of my brother's voice echoing in my mind. Every understanding starts with sharing. It became my mantra, a phrasing I repeated whenever doubts threatened my resolve. With renewed determination, I crafted the layout of the ebook, organizing it into thematic sections. Each theme would draw upon essential lessons from my brother's theories and our lived realities, offering guidance while allowing space for personal reflection. I pictured it in the hands of readers, a vessel through which they could confront their own pasts and glean insights. This is bigger than I am, I told myself, urgency washing over me. The first 3 chapters flowed effortlessly, infusing my journey with nostalgia and vulnerability. I dedicated sections to various patterns of behavior I'd recognized in my life, how silence could fracture relationships, or how a moment of vulnerability could bind 2 souls more tightly than years of shared history. The words danced on the page, each stroke imbued with passion. Then came the moment where I needed to address the larger premise of healing. With trembling hands I typed, "Through exploration, we create space for reclamation." It is only when we confront our shadows that we can truly step into our light. Even as I formed those sentences, I felt a surge of wrongness. I couldn't forget why I was doing this. I stepped back from the glowing screen, my heart thumping in my chest. This was more than just a project. It was my way of repaying the universe for the loss I had endured to reach this point. An interface between the living and the memories we wish to preserve. I felt I was giving voice to my brother's quiet guidance while passionately weaving it into a narrative that could touch the hearts of spouses, siblings, and friends around the world. The moment became pivotal. I felt the weight of it. This was not just nostalgia, it was an action plan. A beacon guiding individuals through their own labyrinths of loss and connection. Once complete, I could hand it over to others, ensuring that my brother's legacy never faded, but rather flourished, echoing beyond the constraints of time. As I crafted what I knew would be the final chapter, I leaned into the intention of spreading love through story. The ink spilled across the paper, spilling my raw thoughts like a lifeline to revolutionize understanding and compassion. Everyone has a story worth sharing, I wrote fervently, and it begins with a single step, the willingness to confront the complexities lingering in our hearts. With everything converging, I knew this journey would not end with mere words on paged ink. I envisioned dozens of faces lighting up with recognition as they read, felt, and connected with what had emerged over this exploration, a community sparked through genuine dialogue. Before I settled down to finish the final edits, a thought surfaced and gripped my psyche. What if I offered a special preview of the ebook to those who would join the community with me? A pathway to direct engagement, an exclusive chance to be part of something greater, to forge those connections through shared memories. "This is our moment," I whispered, excitement building inside me. "Grab the full ebook when it becomes available. Together, we can bridge the gaps left in our hearts." As I wrapped up the manuscript, the energy crackled as I envisioned the possibilities. This was not merely a project, it had bloomed into a testament to life itself.
Stepping back from the screen, I felt transformed, empowered, and completely alive. The journey was far from over, but this ephemeral collaboration between me, my brother, and everyone willing to join was just beginning. Filling the room with shadows, I reveled in the knowledge that together, through the pages of an ebook and the stories we would share, we could navigate the unfurling tapestry of time. As the final draft of the ebook lay before me, I marveled at the journey it encapsulated, a container of stories woven together with intention and love.
The attic, once a mere storage space filled with remnants of the past, now felt like a sanctuary, a sacred space where echoes of my brother's spirit danced amongst my words. Each page pulsated with the essence of our shared history, rekindling memories I had thought lost to time. With each line I read, I was reminded of my purpose, to honor what my brother had left behind and to invite others into this world of connection and reflection. I took a moment to breathe deeply, allowing myself to sink into the gravity of what I had created. It was more than just an ebook. It was an invitation, a beacon for anyone grappling with unresolved emotions, searching for understanding, or yearning to rekindle connections that time and distance had strained. I could only hope that the words I had poured onto the pages would resonate, sparking curiosity and conversation among readers. Each chapter was a key, unlocking doors to shared memories and hidden feelings, imparting the wisdom my brother had offered, urging us all to confront our shadows. Through exploration, we create space for reclamation, would ring in my mind as I envisioned faces in the audience lighting up with clarity. As I wrapped up my project, I understood that in sharing my brother's voice through this ebook, I could help foster a community bound by our shared vulnerabilities and lived experiences. With the final edits complete, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over me. Gratitude for the journey, for the lessons learned, and for the opportunity to extend my brother's legacy into a new life. Yet, I also recognized that we stood at the precipice of a new beginning. The echoes I had embraced, the stories I had intertwined, these would ripple outwards, beckoning others to join us. Each person who engaged with this work would not merely be a spectator. They would enter a community rooted in compassion. Together, we will unravel the complexities of connection, I thought, envisioning names and faces blending with voices. I could see the live chats opening up, viewers sharing their stories, sparks igniting amongst strangers turned friends. There was a beauty in vulnerability, and through it, I felt certain we could pave a new path toward deeper connections. In my heart, I knew the world was not simply ready for this dialogue. It was crying out for it. As I penned the invitation encouraging readers to grab the full ebook, I proposed not just an exploration, but a journey alongside them. Together, we can bridge the gaps left in our hearts, I affirmed. And there, with the words still glowing on the screen, I felt the undeniable presence of my brother beside me. I hoped he would be proud. This was not only our story, it was a shared testament to the beauty of understanding, the need for connection, and the importance of facing our shadows together. With one final keystroke, I sealed this chapter of the journey. I closed my eyes and embraced the moment, knowing that as much as this project had revealed to me about my past, it would also illuminate the paths of others, providing them solace, inspiration, and the courage to step into the light. We were all part of this infinitely intricate tapestry, a thread carefully woven into the fabric of time, every story worthy of being told, every connection deserving to be made. This is where the journey begins anew, and I stood ready to step forward into the vast and beautiful unknown.